Shenanigan Sports Pub.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim flam sauce with the awesome bay with shafafa on the side.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. We got Skippy barking in the background. We got some glare off my new home studio, the makeshift home studio, which is coming to you from not my home office, which is now surrounded by fans and dehumidifiers, and operators and adjusters are standing by. I see dollar signs, Defo, but
you've been making a living at this. I think you have a garden hose just running permanently in your basement.
It's funny you should mention that, because I did find that my garden hose, somebody messed with it and they switched it around. I don't know what's going on. This insanity here.
You have to get out of there. The house is haunted at this point. There's something.
You think it's the ghost of my mother saying,
well, I mean, 30 mile an hour wind and your roof's coming off. So, yeah, it's time. It's time to transfer into old age, get rid of the home, and be in a 2-bedroom condo overlooking the water somewhere.
Well, I definitely am looking for an upper floor or even a second floor at this point will do the trick. So, all right. Anyway, it's been a weird 24 hours. We had the magnificent last-minute Jim Sarney field-produced edition at the Federal and the Panthers' new training facility yesterday, and we were all poised. I had our empty champagne glasses. I had a couple of bottles of champagne in the fridge. And lo and behold, the Panthers crapped the bed once again in the first period. I don't know what the heck happened. They finally woke up. I thought they were going to tie it up. I thought maybe we would be headed to overtime. But alas, it was not to be. Jeff Defo DeForest. And off we go to Game 6 in Edmonton.
That was a lot to overcome in the beginning of the game. Yeah. They started out, as Lubie said. I mean, the very first shot almost went in for Edmonton inside of like 20 seconds. Point blank range, and good save by Bobrovsky, who unfortunately Louis' lament came true again, because seems like when somebody skates in on him, and not even 1-on-0 there. I mean, there was somebody that was actually harassing the offensive skater on the shorthanded goal, but the guy just made a miraculous move, and yeah, that's tough to overcome. You're on the power play about to maybe go up 1-0, instead you're down 1-0. Then they go on a power play and they're up 2-0, and they got down 3-0, and unfortunately, it didn't go their way. They still have 2 swings at it, though, and the world has the Panthers in 6. So bookmakers are nervous everywhere about this upcoming game in Edmonton, because I believe the bookies will be buried if the Panthers win this game.
That was my one silver lining, because to me it didn't make sense that I was getting 5-1 on a Panthers in 6, and which seemed to me like the likeliest possible result.
Only thing being questionable there is that they would have to win that game on the road, plus be in a position to take it there.
But here we are, and so they didn't, they did not get to parade around the home ice with Lord Stanley's cups. And now I have my $5 wager on the Hard Rock betting app is alive and well, and heading into the possible cashing out on Game 6. I will turn $5 into $30 whole dollars. And I know Lubie doesn't like to be put through the ringer with this, but if I say if it's a matter of making actually a profit on this series, I didn't spend $1 on any of these watch party tickets, or I didn't fall for the old Craig Minervini, I'll sell them to you wholesale trap.
Where was Minervini buying these tickets? I mean, the guy's affiliated with the team. I really have to put this into question.
I don't want to disparage anybody. I have no idea.
I love the guy. Look, he's one of the greatest guys we know in the media. He's always fantastic. But he was telling us yesterday that he didn't even know if he could get, like, scalping the tickets, the money that he invested back into it. But he was buying them from the team. You would have to imagine at a special discount, being a part of the organization for many, many years, since their inception in some capacity. What the hell was he paying for these tickets, man?
I don't know where he was getting them. I mean, it's like the inverse black market where you're like,
Yeah, you could have bought them in Tijuana and gotten a better price.
paying double. So it's that's a mystery. But I don't know. Do you think he's cheering secretly for a Game 7 so he could possibly recoup?
It happened to me one time. I went with the Marlins in '97. I've mentioned this a few times. I was partners in some season tickets with my friend Mike Fernandez, who was a cameraman I worked with for many, many years. Great guy. Still works with Bally Sports now, doing a lot of production. And Rosie Paymont, who owned the Penalty Box Lounge and still is involved, I believe he's still involved in the bar business somewhere here in Broward County. But
he's got one left in either Pompano or Lighthouse Point or something.
Well, it came down to Game 6. What was it? What was then? What is now Hard Rock Stadium, I guess. But then it was like Marlins Park or whatever. And my friend begged me to be able to go to Game 6. He said he'd never, had anything like this happen to him in sports. I've been to a zillion sporting events. Could he please have the tickets for Game 6? So I said, yeah, sure, why not? So I ended up with the tickets for Game 7, which couldn't have been any better. And we had a moment there, one of those MasterCard moments where I offered my son the chance to scalp the tickets and keep the money for whatever we got for him, which would have been about $1,500, or go to the game. And I have to say, Mike Mayo, I'm glad I went to the game, believe it or not.
Yeah, it's
as much as I love
memory.
money, I'll never forget being there. And, that was something that we shared. The money would have gone up in smoke shortly thereafter, and no doubt at the track. So, I mean, it was one of those weird things where you were rooting for them to lose so that you could go to a game.
Yes, and lifetime memories are precious. I think we have a lot of people in our audience and also among our sponsors who were at the game last night and enjoying, trying to hopefully get a memory. You would
have to think if it comes to this, which it well may, that the Panthers would have to be heavily favored to win that 7th game, unlikely to lose 3 in a row under these circumstances. It's not like they're, I know they lost 8-1, but they won a game in Edmonton too. So
if it comes to a Game 7 back on home ice, it's anybody's game. And do you like the chances of a team that's just lost 3 in a row?
I almost do.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know.
Right.
I think they have this thing. I really do. I think it will come to a Game 7 also.
Yeah. Look, I think Panthers fans at this point just want to get the freaking job done. Enough of where it happens. Just make sure it happens because, as we all know, Jeff Defo DeForest, no team in the NHL has blown a 3-0 Stanley Cup Finals.
No, it has happened before, I believe.
Wait, let me finish my sentence. No team has blown a 3-0 Stanley Cup Final lead since the 1946 Maple Leafs.
It's so far in the past.
Was there 2 teams?
At that point, there were 6 teams. But again, I mean, it happened once.
But no one's ever done it. No one in
the modern era has done it. But if it's going to happen to any team out there,
it would be the freaking Panthers, yes.
Wouldn't you think it's the curse of seafood?
I don't know.
And
if they come back and win Edmonton, they deserve all the applause in the world. They were dead in the water, these guys.
But
yes.
Then, if that happens, if the Panthers have the ignominy or whatever it is, the big word of
indignity,
ignominy of losing 4 straight to lose the cup, then I will owe Mike Lubie Lubitz the biggest of apologies because his April 24th text of the Panthers will never win a cup with Sergei Bobrovsky as the netminder will have come to fruition for another year.
I want to be wrong.
But
you don't want Lubie's predictions to come out to be right. Ever. For the most part, he's a fatalist. He usually takes the most extremely negative of views.
Yes.
Look, it got a lot more interesting. It's funny how this comes about because, if it wasn't, let's say the Panthers had lost Game 3 and it was 3-2 now going back to Edmonton, everybody would be thinking, oh, wow, it's wonderful, that you're in this situation. So we'll see what happens. But I'm happy for the local bars and restaurants that benefit from such things, that they'll get another opportunity to sell a lot of drinks and food as the people watch Game 6 and maybe a Game 7.
Well, here we go. I'm trying to see how long it's going to take for Lubie to notice that I have something in the screen. And
you have to realize this, Michael. Neither of us care anymore. And when you get to this point on these shows, most people tune out. So I would imagine if we could track this, they had one of those graphics. As soon as you start shoveling food in your face here on the home shows, That's it. I mean, the audience, I think, goes to zero. I really do.
Can you identify the food thing I have in front of me right now?
Is that your fudgy whale? I presume it's a
It's
part
like some
of
kind of ice cream sundae.
There we go. And it goes back to one of my truisms of life is that ice cream makes everything better, and especially when it's Fudgy the Whale, which is the leftover birthday cake, Father's Day cake that I annually get from.
Did you sit on it
Chicago.
after you ate it originally?
Well,
What
it's been
happened?
melting now. I've had it defrosting for a while, so it is starting to keel over. But you see the fudgy part, and the best part is they gave me at the Carvel and Davy the extra crunchy cake crunch part that you pour on your ice cream to give it that crunch, which I love so much.
That's the best. Good for you. I love it.
Here I go. I'm gonna say, forget what happened to the Panthers last night. I still got fudgy.
Well, look, I mean, again, it's a series, and it's why our friends like Dave Hyde, who wrote an article when they went up 3-0, crowning them, even though it's hockey, bothered me. But that it is what it is. You have Connor McDavid. You have a really good team. It's why yesterday when all of you guys were like, if you weren't crowning them, you were pseudo celebrating. Like people all around town were just assuming that they would close out. I was very trepidatious just because of the way they played game 4. What's funny is the way they finished game 5, I'm doing a 180-degree turn because I now have a little, I don't know if I have confidence.
They showed signs of life.
But I feel better.
And boy, did they get rooked by the refs at home. And this was supposedly a ref.
Twice in the third period that I think they would have won the game. Like they had all the momentum, had made it 4-3, and it was, 10 to 13 minutes. There was still plenty of time left when they got what was clearly a penalty that happened to Kachuk, and it should have been a 5-on-4, and they actually had shook off their power play garbage because they were playing better on the power play at that point. It felt like they were going to score a goal if they got on the power play. Like they had all the momentum. They were barraged.
Did you? And I didn't even realize this has now become a rule. Did you realize, Defo, that like flopping is a penalty? In
that was a
hockey?
terrible application of
But
the
he didn't
embellishment
flop.
rule.
He got tripped.
Yeah,
He got tripped.
no,
And,
that was a terrible
he
reciprocal.
put a little
call.
extra on at the end. Oh, as he was going down, but he legitimately
There was no reason for that call.
He legitimately got It was a slashing call, not a tripping call, but he still gets slashed, and he did go to the ice. And I don't.
You see a lot of guys do this though with the high stick. They snap their head back. It's happening in all sports. And I don't mind the embellishment rule, but that was not a case of it. I don't think.
No, that should have been a Panthers power play.
Yeah.
That one.
And the 4-on-4, I feel like when they have McDavid and Draisaitl out there,
That's in your favor.
I mean that definitely has to help them because I've never seen a guy just blow by people as quickly as McDavid does for like a big guy. I remember you were probably covering the team. Were you covering the team when Lindros? What was in the league, and like every time he touched the puck, everybody was on him.
Lindros was like a linebacker,
but he kind of had a little bit of McDavid in him, except that McDavid is even faster and even a more slick puck handler than Lindros was. And when he gets the puck, I mean, you can't help it. You can feel the whoosh of excitement every time this guy touches the puck. So
Meanwhile, some people out there who are like into the superstition or things they think that things actually have some sort of influence on the game, which obviously does not. But the banging of the pregame drum by Jack Nicklaus.
It wasn't exactly like he was Keith Moon.
That was bad. I don't understand.
I mean, that was weak, Jack. I'm sorry. He should.
The guy is like 84.
I love him. I do love Jack.
No, who doesn't love Jack Nicklaus?
Everybody loves Jack.
If you want a little inject of life and energy, look. I know there's some people out there saying, "Oh, Dan Marino, best South Florida athlete ever," but Dan Marino never won the big one. So I don't know if I tried him.
No, you're throwing Marino out there. If it's Game 7, it's definitely it's Marino. Yeah, absolutely. I don't consider him a jinx in any way.
No,
I bring out Dwayne Wade. That guy has won championships.
Wade would have been fine too.
So you're going to be one of these guys that's going to label Marino a loser to his grave? That's a disgrace. No wonder he doesn't speak to you anymore, man.
Why are you putting words in my mouth? I never called him a loser. I just said he didn't win the big one.
Let's not put him out there. He's a jinx. Come on.
I would have put Marino.
I didn't use the word jinx, and I didn't say the word loser. I'm just saying,
I mean, just come clean. I mean, you may as well have thrown that out there.
If you are trying to have the franchise, the organization win its first ever championship, do you put out a guy who's basically in his obituary will say Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame quarterback,
this is sad.
Ever,
shut
who never won a championship. So you put a guy who never won a championship out there to bang a drum for a team that's never won a championship. So I'm just saying, okay, this is all silliness.
I don't think that's where they went. I didn't get the Nicholas when our friend Jim started.
Nicholas is just an old.
I like Big Jack doing
Jack.
it, but come on, hit the drum, Big Jack. Boom, 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 boom.
He
What
could
was
hardly
that?
take the driver back halfway anymore. Did you see the opening, sermon?
Come on, man. It's a pair of mallets. You hit the thing, man. Did you see, everybody
love
else has been
Jack.
hammering this.
Or I used to love Jack until he started to get into the presidential politics endorsement game. I was kind of shocked.
Is he endorsing the Trumpster?
He did last election. He is this time
Jesus.
too. So,
Now it doesn't taint my opinion of Big Jack because he's a little bit on the senile side. I've always loved him, though. Because you rooted against Big Jack when he first came on the scene because Arnie was the man and everybody loved him. And you thought, wow, here's this big evil guy, hulking, athlete that's going to crank the ball 50 yards further down the fairway. But then you couldn't help but like the guy. And he turned a very, very decent man.
And I loved covering him. When I was, I did lots of years on the golf beat. And when I was columnist, I'd go to all the majors and had a good relationship. Jack, every year at Christmas time, would invite local media, the golf writers over to his house in North Palm Beach, which was a very modest house considering the level of his legend. And his wife, Barbara, would actually bake Christmas holiday cookies and set them out, and he'd have a little like State of the Bear address and talk about the year that had just transpired and the year ahead, and about his on the course performance and about his business. It's just a class guy, one of those guys that didn't view the media as an enemy or an antagonist, and always had good relations and a good, genuine, decent human being, good family man, raised his sons right, and none of them could play golf worth a lick like their dad. But in any event, I just thought it was an uninspired choice, and we got an uninspired first period from the Panthers. And who would you put out there for Game 7? Defo says Marino.
Marino has to be. If it's not Marino, it's a disgrace.
Marino or Wade. I'm okay with either of them. I hope it doesn't get to a Game 7. We said
Pat Riley. What about Pat Riley?
I don't know if Riley wants to do
it. I don't know if Riley would do that. That would be a good inspired choice.
Riley would be fantastic.
The local teams have kind of been embracing the Panthers run, which I appreciate this greatly. I mean, the Marlins were all wearing Panther jerseys at their warm-up the other day, or Panther shirts. So
McDaniel banged the drum one of the games.
I was just watching tennis on the tennis channel from England, and the coach of one of the players, one of the Spanish players, was wearing a Panthers hat.
Don Jaffe out there says, shoot, have the 99-year-old World War II vet that they always celebrate.
I'm digging up Angelo Dundee, man. I'm saying, hey, Ange, hit this drum. Come on, we got to win this thing, man. You're blowing it, kid. You're blowing it.
How would you feel about a non-athlete, like Pitbull or Ariana Grande type? Both of them have ties.
They've been doing athletes this whole time. You stick with what works. They played well at home in the series.
As long as it's not DJ Khaled.
Yeah, they
had Zoe.
Zoe was great. Yeah.
So do you go back to the basketball bench and try to get Riley or Wade?
Maybe
Jeff Conine.
Honestly, Spo might be
Mr. Marlin. How about Miggy Rojas? Somebody.
Spolstra has been very Panthers related, and he's won a lot, and he knows how to win.
Good choice.
Young enough. Spo actually may be the move.
How about Craig Minervini?
Udonis Haslam. How about Udonis Haslam?
Craig Minervini, and then he'd go off and try to sell the drumstick that he pounded the drum with.
Hey, Minervini told us a story about he was selling, his stringer clips from the original Panthers expansion draft.
Where I was also.
And I thought, wow, that's genius right there. I mean, that's that kind of stuff that Lubie and I could only dream about doing.
Which is great, by the way. And this is great for my diabetes.
You're on it.
Combination.
But the audience level drops to a level of 0.
Here's the bizarre part. I'm down a belt buckle. I'm down all the way to the end of this belt. I'm going to have to get a new belt soon.
Oh, yeah, wow.
So pounds are still shedding somehow, even though I've been celebrating birthday week with many carbs and sugar.
What haven't you eaten this week? What was this, soft shell crabs you were eating last night? What was that?
No, what are you talking about, soft shell crabs?
There was some picture you posted.
I was at Tropical Acres
with martinis, and it looked like soft shell crabs.
No, it was escargot.
Oh, okay.
And I was at our friends. And
there wasn't a crab involved in this?
There was not.
Maybe I was watching too much Deadliest Catch. I've been watching endless reels of Deadliest Catch for the last 4 months.
I sent you some pictures and this leads us into our first break, and then we'll talk some about the pizza competition, the Sun-Sentinel's best pizza.
It's a weak list. I agree with you.
Well, let's get into that after the break. I want to sing the praises of Jack Studiali and the whole team at Tropical Acres. I saw Joe, his son, there last night working the front desk, and it kind of was the culmination of birthday week. I went into the bar and had myself the usual Belvedere half-price happy hour martini.
Saw that.
Blue cheese olives on the side.
Look good.
Had my brother Burl Mayo and Tracy came and met me and Val, and we had a beautiful table for four. A very light crowd in there last night pregame because a lot of people were
really
clearing out to go to the Panther game. So last night, the place really did clear out by the time we left at 8:00, and did run into a fellow Let's Eat South Florida couple that they were there early, and then they went to the game, but they stopped me and thanked me for all the good recommendations, especially Tropical Acres. So yeah, the way the meal went was there was no crabs or no twin lobsters this time, even though $39 for two of them, very tempting. But I did have lobster on Sunday night, and I had my twin lobster special at Tropical Acres last time I was there a few weeks ago. So last night I went a little bit offbeat. We did have the escargot gorgonzola toast to start, along with some stuffed mushrooms. That is what you saw. They are crab meat stuffed mushrooms. That's one of the great appetizers there.
I thought I saw a crab shell, though. No?
No crab shell. I was just.
I don't have my phone with me, but I can't be dreaming this up.
Stop. You could be dreaming things, but
you're blaming dementia for this oversight?
You said it again. I'm putting words in my mouth. I never said dementia. Just hallucinations.
The assertion is there, though, Mayo. I know you're subtle.
No, I'm not blaming it on dementia. Yeah. I'm blaming it on the drugs. I say just cut the dosage down.
I don't have drugs good enough for that. I mean, they're good, but they're not that good.
I had me and Val split a couple of things. I split the rack of lamb, which I hadn't had in a long time. We got it nice and rare, and they come on that sizzling platter, and then we just kind of finish it off. So you kind of get it to the medium rare. It's perfect. I love those sizzling platters when you undercook it, and then you kind of finish it off yourself. Let that be a lesson and a tip to those in the Let's Eat group who always complain about things like, oh, it came out overcooked. Cook it on the underside, and with the sizzling platter there, you can finish the job yourself. And then we did the surf and turf marsala, which we had on our last lunchbox visit.
That's great.
That was good. Yeah.
The shrimp and the beef tenderloin, like strips of filet, tossed over linguine in a marsala wine sauce.
That's a beauty, man.
Yeah, that was great.
Val had not had that before, and she was very pleased. She was
good.
No, it's really good.
She seems amenable to a lot of things, though, whereas you tend to be a little bit crappy.
No, we're very.
I like Val. I want to hang out with her
Val's fantastic.
from now on. Yeah,
we all like Val. She's great.
She's great.
So,
what she sees in you, no, I understand.
No, 25. Look, with every day I ask her, why the heck are you still with me?
Don't ask her that. I asked Shirley that question. You keep that to yourself.
No, but it's just I could be a curmudgeon. I could be
that's why you don't ask her. You keep it to yourself. If she's there, that's her bad.
I get hangry. She immediately knows when I'm hangry because I stop laughing and I have no sense of humor anymore. And but anyway, 2500 Griffin Road is Tropical Acres. They're open every day but Sunday. They've got happy hour on the bar 4:30 to 6:30 Monday through Friday. They got the twin lobster specials, $39 Monday through Friday. They've got the loyalty reward card. Every 12 entrees you purchase, you get the 13th one for free. I left mine at home. My brother had his. Nice. He got the 4 punches last night.
How close is he to completing it?
He's got 9 out of 12. And Tracy,
does he want to take Lubie and I out for dinner?
Tracy, his wife, got the king cut. I usually get just the regular cut prime rib, the 10 ounce. She got the 14 ounce. This was a hunk of.
You should definitely go big anytime.
Oh, it was.
I'm always a large. Give me the large. Never mind the petite filet. Give me the.
You know what she does? She didn't finish it, but she takes it home. She has leftovers, and that's nice. Have some beautiful prime rib from Tropical Acres for today's lunch or dinner. So anyway, go in there, 2500 Griffin Road, and tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
It's great. I remember my friend Johnny Jarris turning me on to this place circa 30 some odd years ago. And it's still the same in terms of just how classy it is. I mean, it really does. It exudes class, coming straight from Jack Studiali as a carryover from Sam and the whole Studiali family. Great job there by a local restaurateur.
Yeah,
I come back more Mike Mayo's Lunchbox and Panther Crying Tell in a moment.
Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go?
Cafe Seville, that's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. One of the best restaurants in Broward, J&C Oyster in downtown Hollywood. At 2035 Harrison Street, this place is fantastic and worth a drive. It's got creative, cutting-edge seafood and more with an Asian twist and gorgeous cocktails. Chefs Raheem Seeley and Monica Dominguez cut their teeth at some of Miami's best restaurants. Don't miss some of these fantastic dishes, including grilled oysters, fried chicken, and the Thai red curry crab. Open Wednesday through Sunday for dinner with daily happy hour and outdoor seating. Go to jncoyster.com for reservations and information. Tell them Mike Mayo's Lunchbox sent you. Are you looking for a good New York-style slice? How about lunch specials for under $9 that come with garlic rolls and a fountain drink? I'm talking about Stromboli Pizza Kitchen in the Fountains of Plantation, 801 South University Drive. Since 1987, it's been home to Brooklyn-style pies and slices, heroes and paninis, pastas, and all your Italian-American favorites. It's got the unpretentious vibe of the pizza places of my youth with daily specials, family dinners, outdoor seating, eat-in, carry-out, or delivery. Open 7 days a week. Go to Stromboli'sPizza.com to place your order today. All right, we are back on the Lunchbox, and you were talking about Jack Studiali exuding class, and how about me exuding class when I lick the fudgy well, God, my plate. Okay, let's get into this pizza competition because, like it or not, whatever the finalists are, we have agreed to be the kind of part of the blind tasting judges panel that's going to be assembling next Tuesday. I'm very excited about the whole blind tasting aspect of this competition. And, you know, although the finalist list, you know, it had some that we might have been expecting, like Sicilian Oven, but a lot of the list was shockers to me. A lot of them small places, and it seems like everybody in Plantation voted for their pizza.
It seems like that area got a lot of
and then if you're going to be doing that, why did our friends at Stromboli's not make the cut if it was like so Plantation heavy? There's these little places, this Mr. D's Pizza. I looked it up. I've never been there. It's I guess it's on like Cleary Boulevard and Plantation, and then Little Mike's actually started in North Lauderdale. Now they have 3 locations, but one of them is on also one of those side streets in Plantation there, just off I guess Pine Island Road. But the whole thing, you know, Little Mike's Pizza, Mr. D's Pizza, to me were absolute shockers. Pepe, you know, the offshoot of the famous New Haven place, not as much as a shock because it does have a big following and they have locations in Plantation and Delray Beach. Antonio's longtime local place that's been in several locations, and now they have one in Hollywood, one in Fort Lauderdale. And I know the Sirianni family, they're really good people, good locals, support a lot of charities, have a lot of fans. And so Antonio's is in the mix. Sicilian Oven, our friend Andrew is, you know, in the mix now, along with Tommaso's Pizza up in Boca Raton, Palmetto Park Road, a little kind of also small strip mall slice and pie joint, New York style. But yeah, I wouldn't call it weak. I would call it surprising because they all have, you know, decent pizzas. But okay, you're making a face. What's
who, me? No, I'm not making a face. I'm just listening.
Lubie was making.
Oh, Lubie.
Yeah, I don't know these places, and that's a little weird to me since I literally born and raised in the Sunrise Plantation area. There's lots of Italian places there. To me, that's weird that you got 3 in that one. Like of all of this, supposed to be South Florida, right? Like Palm Beach, Miami, Broward.
Look,
West Broward, like 3 different places that are hubbed out of Plantation. Plantation is fine, but they're not. It's not like food capital of the world. Like,
Well, and none of which were John the Baker, which is a more
great
recognizable place
place.
for this
They
kind
have
of
great pizza,
stuff.
actually.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's-
even places like Pizza Time that has locations, Coral Springs and
Doughboys down
Boca.
on 17th Street.
Well,
a lot
that's
of people
crap.
love that place.
That's
No, it's no good.
Yeah, it's no good. But
I mean,
Oh,
there's pizza everywhere. Like, it's just weird to have three from that.
but I was
small-
expecting, like you said, Pasquale's is popular, has places all over. Pizza Time, who's Reno's dad, used to own
Okay,
the
you can
original.
eat
People like Umberto's of New York.
Birdo's fantastic.
Umberto's.
Hey, you know what? Back in the day, there were a couple of places that were always mentioned, and they were like signature places. I don't know that they were the greatest or would stack up today, but it was always like, wow, if you're having pizza, you're going to go to Steve's Pizza in Miami. That was one, and
That
a
place
lot of
has
people
gone downhill.
like the people like Permani Brothers on the beach, especially because it was
Permani's
open all
It's
night.
always
And you
been
could
crap.
be stoned out of your. I don't know. I found it pretty good
That's
at the time I went there. That was a long time ago, but
Yeah,
but there were
3 o'clock
signature
in the
places
morning.
that people could name. None of these places struck me as being in that category where you say, wow, if you ask somebody where can you get great pizza, 5 out of 10 people would have had this place on the list. And, it seems like too broad of a category too to nail down to 5 places because
It's
the style
very
of pizza
broad.
that you were in favor of really isn't necessarily like under the conventional pizza banner. Right? Rena doesn't make conventional pizzas, neither does Mark Falsetto there at Pizza Craft.
They make high quality pizzas that are
Right.
really good using excellent ingredients. And
Right, but I mean,
Yeah.
there's no definition to it, and you're wondering. I mean, are they talking about because everybody's quest was to find authentic New York pizza? I don't know. That didn't seem to be part of the criteria, so that made the category really like widely,
well, it was an open-ended.
tough to interpret.
It was an open-ended competition. I don't know the methodology. I just,
Yeah.
I don't know if these places have big.
But you weren't happy with the
but
list of fried chicken, and you weren't happy with the other stuff that they put up there.
I don't know if places that just have big email lists and
That's what it feels like.
email server chains that just send out these blasts to their customers to nominate them, then get the most. Everything in life these days seems to be a social media and marketing
political, yeah.
game. And whereas like I said, as a critic and a person who's eaten a lot of pizza around the whole region, my top 5 would not necessarily included any of these, but. This is the list that we've got, and we're going to do a blind tasting. And based on the, the sauce, the cheese, the dough, the overall composition, the way that it's all blends together, and I don't know if toppings are going to be involved or if it's just going to be cheese. Yeah, I'm not. All I know is I'm showing up on Tuesday with our friend Josie Smith-Malev, the chef owner of Bubbles and Pearls. She's nice enough to lend us her restaurant for the purposes of this blind tasting. We'll be reheating pizza in her ovens so that everybody has a fair shot, and we're eating warm, crispy pizza and not cold, limp pizza, which is always a good thing. And we'll see what happens. And one of them will be crowned a champion. There's also the People's Choice component of it. I'm going to say that this is the Sun-Sentinel's best pizza competition,
that's what I would say.
and it's not necessarily my choices for best pizza in South Florida. And but that's okay because the people have spoken, and like we're faced with this November. Sometimes you don't love who's on the ballot. Those are the 2 finalists from each of the major parties this year, and you got to vote for one or the other. So that is the state we find ourselves in with the pizza competition, but we are happy to be involved with it, and hopefully a lot of people will watch us. It's going to be also Rod Stafford Hagwood, my former colleague at the Sun-Sentinel, who's done a bunch of food reviews, feature writing, fashion, and he's hilarious, so I'm sure he'll be filled with all kinds of quips and observations about the pizza that we're eating, and Josie, and then we'll have a combined lunchbox, ballot, and I guess we're going to tally it up where everybody will rank first, second, third, and do a 5-3-1 points tally list, and whoever gets the most points will be declared the judges' blind tasting competition. So be it. Yesterday, I kind of gave my list of places that I love. Defo, you mentioned some of yours.
I don't know. They're not my favorite. I'm just saying that there really are no like standout where everybody, it's a consensus, says this place is the greatest. I mean,
Well,
but none of the places on that list were places I was even familiar with.
I've
So.
never heard of anyone.
Wait, take that back.
Tony
I think you're familiar with
Oh
Sicilian
well,
Oven.
yeah, Sicilian Oven, and they do a great job. But they're sort of in a category that I would consider separate from conventional pizza, because you're getting a whole different experience there.
They have a style of pie that's also thin and wood-fired oven baked. I think it's a very good product.
No, they make good stuff. I mean, it's right there. Reno does a great job, as you said. I was amazed by Pizza Craft. They were fantastic. I wasn't a big fan of Pepe's. Everybody always talks about Beats. That didn't make the list. And then, of course, your favorite place, Pizza Spot. Nary a mention, my friend.
Yeah, and because he doesn't deliver, and he's not on the apps, so because it's a standalone single place in a hard to find part of town, I hate to say it, but it is kind of a little bit hidden. So people who know about it love it, but not a lot of people in the whole region nominated it, and it's just one of those things where, again, everything in life is subjective. It did seem like this list skewed towards the New York style pizzas, which you like when I'm surprised Costas,
Costas does a great pizza.
Costas does a great job. Yeah.
I mean, again, there was more surprises on this list.
Well, that's the problem. Look, and we went to Pepe's and they treated us really well. And it's not that they do a bad job on pizza. They do a nice pizza. But even in that style, we can name like 3 different places that I would put ahead of what we experienced at Pepe's.
I like Beats better for that pure style. I like a Pizza Spot, even though his comes out sometimes a little bit not as crisp and cracker like. But his, that mushroom pie, the vegetable pie, the bacon, hot cherry pepper. I love Wade. I love everything he does. He's a true artisan. He puts his hands. He makes every pizza that comes out of that place. And but again, the biggest shocks to me were that I guess more of these kind of franchised or multi-location places didn't make it. Like, I'm surprised. Well, not really, based on how the quality has slid downhill, but Anthony's Coal-Fired Pizza didn't make the list. I thought Mr. 01 Extraordinary Pizza was going to make the list because a lot of people seem to like it a lot, and there's many locations all around South Florida, but that didn't make it. And like I mentioned yesterday, some places that always get mentioned on the Let's Eat group when people are looking for pizza recommendations, places like Times Square Pizza and Primanti Brothers, they did not make the cut. There's also a place in Boca that's very good, also kind of like these artisan style wood-fired pies called Tucci's that I liked a lot. Tucci's, in my mind, makes a better pizza than Tommaso's, which is just kind of a garden variety slice joint where I don't want to prejudge. Everybody will show up. The 6 finalists will have their entries show up, and one of them will reign supreme. And maybe I'll be surprised. I think because I've eaten 4 out of the 6 finalists, I think I'll be able to recognize which is which for the most part. But I'm not going in with any prejudice or preconceived notions. And whichever one comes up with the best tasting overall pizza on Tuesday, I think, we'll get my vote, and we'll see how it plays out.
I'm curious what ground rule, like, are we standardizing it, or are we allowing each pizza place to do their best pizza? Because that's this whole thing was about, if you want one slice, there's the gun and the cliff's there and you're about to die, and the only thing you can have before you die is a slice of pizza. What pizza do you have? Are you going to let each restaurant do their best pizza, or are we going to, because that's my problem, and I agree with Defo on this, there's no standardization on this. Like, it's just pizza, but there's 5,000 pizza places. Like, so are we now going to standardize it, or are we just going to run amok? And because that, to me, I think there should be some standardization from here on out. Fine, you gave us the 6 places, most of them no one's ever heard of. What is the standardizing of this? Like, okay, we're all now going to do cheese because at least it's standard,
right? Which is
what we think is our best pizza. Like, because I feel like there should be, from here on out, we let them do whatever they did. Now they let you jump in. I'm hoping you can try and make this a little more.
Well, again, this is the Sun-Sentinel's deal. The way they organized it, I don't know if they're going to bring like plain cheese round pizzas from every finalist, and then also let them bring like one, kind of specialty pie and have us taste one of each, and then we're eating 12 different pizzas, or is it just everybody could submit each place is allowed to submit whatever they think gives them the best shot of achieving a victory with judges. I don't know. Again, I just agreed to show up and be a blind taster along with you guys, along with Josie, and the Sentinel is sending along Rod, and we'll see what happens. But I agree, it's amorphous, and as much as I rag on David Portnoy, I do give him credit for he has a just consistency of style where he just goes in and he orders a cheese pizza, and he just eats the cheese pizza, nothing with any toppings or frou-frou or anything specialty. He just makes all his assessments and judgments based on a plain cheese pizza that he takes a slice and takes supposedly one bite, but it's usually the whole slice. But that's okay. But his proclivities. He loves New Haven style, and he hates anything that's soggy or floppy, and he hates Chicago deep dish. So that's going in. That's his style. We all have our styles. I mean, me, I'm an agnostic. I've said it before. I love all the types. I love, well, except Chicago deep dish, because that's not even pizza. That's a cheese casserole. But I love Death by Pizza. That's one of my favorite top 5 pizzas in South Florida right now, and that's the Detroit style. It's like a Sicilian, but it's airy and spongy in the middle and crunchy on the outside, and has that kind of crust, caramelized melted cheese around the edges. I love Death by Pizza in Delray Beach. Nowhere near this list. So what are you going to do? That's it. Hey, all right. Well, we're going to deal with that next week. And I do want to say one other thing about a best of competition. Well, first of all, congratulations to our friend Seth Burger Beast Gonzalez, because his Burger Beast pop-up was just awarded among the top 10 best burgers in Miami by Miami New Times. They put out some annual lists as well. And I know Seth was giddy because he only does it twice a month at Mojo Donuts there on Bird Road, including the burger that you sampled during VO Food Fest. Yeah, that his
Diablo burger is, and I do lean more of a steak burger, and I think it is more of the smash burger variety. It's fantastic. I mean, and again, the professor leans the same way as me, but we're open to smash burgers. I grew up on Royal Castle, so I can enjoy that kind of a burger. It was fantastic. If he had other burgers, it was one of the greatest burgers I've ever had.
He's in the top 10, and congrats to Seth. I think we're going to be doing something with him next month on the weekend. It's a hot dog thing, of all things. But
he'll have his burgers, though. He'll have burgers too.
Oh yeah, we love burgers. So congrats to him. And then, of course, the really not just legitimate, but just a winner that much deserved winner of the Sun-Sentinel's Best Burger competition, which was Jeffrey Eats, and our friend Jeffrey Lermerman. He's going to be thanking all his fans that voted for him by giving away 100 free burgers next Monday at his food truck outside Barrel of Monks Brewing in Boca Raton. The Jeffrey Eats food truck will be giving away to the first 100 customers that line up on Monday, June 24th. And I believe the truck opens at 4 p.m. So I'm sure, knowing South Florida, Defo, they'll be lined up from 6 a.m. on. But his original, he calls it the OG, just the original OG burger, which is just a great basic burger with cheese, lettuce, tomato, onion. And again, that's a good deal. So for those who want to get out there, the early bird will get the burger at Jeffrey Eats next Monday. All right, we'll take our second break. But before we do that, I want to throw in the kind words about our friends at Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap. They have a good burger there. They have good everything there. I really got to give them props. Kevin and Brandon, the one who can be named now, Brandon Alpers, the director of operations for the Batch Hospitality Group. But man, they do great things, and they're always coming up with new menu items, and they got their new menu for the summer coming out. And we had some of those great things last week, like that, what was it? The sweet potato hummus with the lavash. We had that blackened redfish over the grit cake with the corn succotash. That's one of my favorite dishes I've had all year. And you can find all that and more for lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch at Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap, 525 North Federal Highway in Fort Lauderdale. Don't forget about the free parking in the garage right next door. They also have Whiskey Wednesday. Today's Wednesday, so go on out there for great whiskey tastings, along with you can buy bottles very reasonably, and a portion of the proceeds goes to charity. We love Batch. They also have a DJ during their weekend brunch service. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
Coming back, more of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox in a moment.
Gilbert's 17th Street Grill. You know me, I love family-run places with quality food at fair prices served with passion and pride. And that's why I love Gilbert's. For more than a decade, Lenore, Beth, and Richie Gilbert have been serving up the best burgers, wings, ribs, salads, and desserts. It's a fast casual spot. Everything prepared fresh to order from an immaculate open kitchen. They're at 1821 Cordova Road in Fort Lauderdale in the Cordova Shops just south of 17th Street. Open every day but Sunday. One of my favorite burgers in South Florida. Big, round, juicy pucks of 100% Angus beef, char grilled to perfection. And don't miss the sweet potato fries on the side. They're legendary. Go to Gilbert's, feast, and be happy. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 in the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value for tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. From a scratch kitchen, delicious drinks and house-made spirits from a craft bar. A great vibe inside and out with a spacious patio. I'm talking about Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap, Fort Lauderdale, in the heart of the city at 525 North Federal Highway. It's open 7 days for lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch with classics like fried chicken and waffles and shrimp and grits, and creative items like pecan-crusted salmon and a fried green tomato BLT. And the drinks? Smooth sipping and so good. There's convenient free parking and a garage next door, happy hour at the bar, an entire patio, 4 to 7 Monday to Friday, and live music every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's pet and people friendly and with cozy fire pits for when the temperature dips. For reservations and more information, go to batchsouthernkitchen.com. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, and also now with a new location on Las Olas Boulevard. Those are my spots. Upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. Okay, we're back on the Lunchbox home show, licking our wounds from Game 5, but that's okay. Got 2 more cracks at the cup. Okay, before we get into the next topic, which is kind of a little bit of a downer, it's like a lot of restaurants are struggling and some of them are closing, but I want to focus on something that's open and doing bang-up business. Our friends at Even Keel Fish Shack, Lauderdale by the Sea. We're going to be there tomorrow. We adjusted our schedule, had a little things kind of change around last minute. J&C Oyster, now the ribbon cutting once again postponed for some reasons that include, well, we're going to be doing it July 17th. Wednesday, July 17th is now the date for the J&C Oyster Show. So instead, tomorrow, we're going to go for another place where you can get great fresh seafood and oysters, and that's Even Keel Fish Shack, Lauderdale by the Sea, right there near the Casa de Defo, A1A and Commercial Boulevard. And I'm very excited because we're going to be talking a lot tomorrow with Brad about the upcoming great Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival event that's taking place August 10th at Even Keel. That's co-presented by right here, us at the Lunchbox. It's called the Pearl Jam by the Sea. And it's going to be featuring unlimited oysters, unlimited bubbly, and all kinds of other fun. August 10th, 1 to 4 p.m. You can see it right on the screens there. And you got tickets on sale now at eventbrite.com if you just do a search for Even Keel Oysters, or go onto the vlfoodwine.com website and you could click on the banner and it'll take you to the ticket purchase location. And I just got word that the VIP bar seating, which is going to be great because it's covered from the sun, and you get a seat, and you get it includes an entree from their regular brunch menu. Almost half of those seats are sold out already.
Nice.
So those seats are going fast. And I just got word that things are coming together, that the VIP seating, instead of having I guess some of the maybe domestic sparkling wines or the cavas, they're going to be getting Tattinger champagne, the real champagne from France. So other great sponsors are committed. Indian River Oyster Company, believe it or not, there's some really good domestic, well, not local oysters coming from the Atlantic side and the intracoastal side of Florida, and they're very clean and pure. The way they're pasteurized and treated, it removes all elements of what you used to say, oh, don't eat oysters in the R months. That's no longer the case, because technology and science has now made it very safe and very delicious to eat all these oysters year round. It's going to be a great time. And again, vlfoodwine.com for that. All right, Defo. So and we have to share the bad news. I did talk to Tom T a little bit last night, but our friend Tom Tanazzini unexpectedly had to close his Tom's Louisiana Kitchen, which had thought it found a permanent home at this place in Boca Raton that used to be known at Phil's Place and Fries to Caviar. And as we're seeing a lot in the business now, it's just a real struggle. I guess places are just seeing huge drops in business from year over year, and people are tightening their wallets and pocketbooks. And we're also, it's been a rash of closures on Las Olas Boulevard. There's also this place, Santiago's Bodega, that does very well in Key West and Orlando. They shut a Fort Lauderdale location. And, I don't know what's happening all over. We see some of our places like Tropical Acres and Cafe Seville and Kaizen was packed when I was in there on a Monday night. Some places have just these very loyal local crowds, and some just really seem to struggle. And it's, not just about getting the place filled every night, but it's also, and it's not just about the food costs or labor costs. It's about what your rent is and what your, the insurance is what's driving up a lot of prices at places. These restaurants have to carry liability insurance and everything. Yep. And customers have, I guess, just unrealistic expectations given everything that's going on, and both in terms of pricing and service. But then again, they're being charged, more than ever. So they expect a lot, and it's all leading to a lot of heartache. And I don't know what to say or do, except that I'll just keep supporting, worthy, independent, local restaurants as much as possible. We just have to go from there. But I don't know if there's anything to add to that, but I'm just kind of saddened by it. That's about it, Yes.
I just feel bad for, I didn't get a chance to go out there. And I know Tom T is supposedly in retirement, and then people keep bringing him back out, and then he keeps trying things from people's requests, and then it doesn't work. I don't know what you do, because the guy makes as good of, not even that New Orleans, Louisiana food, just food in general. And he takes chances and he does different things, and he uses really high quality ingredients, and he actually makes the prices affordable. And he really, I don't know how he's making money, because he keeps it, when you look at food prices, food costs, and what he charges, they're very close to each other. So he's really just doing it as a labor of love at this point in his life. And it just it stinks that he keeps getting to places, and then it just doesn't work out. And I guess that's sort of a microcosm of what the industry is. I mean,
yeah.
It's not just, okay, well, that place sucks, so they close. That's actually not the case.
His food was great, and he was getting these rave reviews from people who are, first timers going there and checking the place out on Let's Eat South Florida. And it's like, what more can you do? And like you said, it's fueled by passion, but then there's a lot of heartbreak, and you run into reality now. And let me just read something that came into the group this week, because somebody posted something about if every time you go to a restaurant there's a problem, maybe you're the problem. signed the restaurant. And a lot of people, I happen to agree with that. I think, a lot of people should, stop with the nitpicking and just appreciate the bounty that we have. But one person did write this response, and I thought it was a thoughtful one. So it was Zane Kenny wrote, I agree that 95% of the restaurant patrons in here can constantly whine about their experiences are usually the problem. But one could also say it's a systemic problem with restaurants now. I used to go to restaurants all the time. I'm frugal in other areas, but eating out was the one thing I spent too much money on. For me, it was sort of like an expensive hobby. Now I eat out way less often. Rising wages and inflation have made it way more expensive than it used to be, even when you account for inflation. And during the pandemic, many career people switched to other careers. As a result, the quality of service has gone significantly downhill. And, he says restaurants are just something that I just don't spend as much time or money as I used to. And that is, unfortunately, a lot of what people are feeling these days. And I responded to him was there's much truth here also. And my solution is lower expectations and more inebriation. And that's if you just have a couple of drinks, and then you won't have set the stopwatch every time you're in a restaurant, because they are struggling with finding servers and capable servers. And I don't know what the solution is, but there might be a big wave of restaurant contraction coming. And I actually just got a couple of texts in today, and it's basically saying that you hear that basically there might be a whole new slew of closures coming up. It seems like every first of the month when rent is due, people just pull the plug. But basically one of my sources says that one of the major food outfits, there's that delivers food, it says many different restaurants are asking for Chapter 11 protection for their businesses now, and that there's a lot of outstanding unpaid big bills and invoices, which is always a harbinger of closures to come. So it's grim times, but other people are saying maybe it's time for a restaurant contraction. Maybe there was simply a glut, because we thought COVID.
There's so many.
We thought COVID was going to wipe out the local restaurant industry. Counterintuitively, it turned out to be the complete opposite, where because our rules and laws were more relaxed, restaurants came here from other parts of the country. Restaurant groups opened up in abundance, and now it's everybody is here, and simple supply and demand says there's going to be a shakeout and a contraction. And I just hope the winners and losers, there's always winners and losers in capitalism. I just hope the winners are somewhat worthy ones, and the ones that are putting out good product and have passion and have good service. And that's my spiel for the day. We are going to we're going to take our final break, and we're going to dismiss Defo before we come back to wrap up this edition of the Lunchbox. But before we do, let me just put in the good word for our friends at Casa D'Angelo. They're not going anywhere, because Angelo Elia, he has 3 of his premier locations: Aventura, the original in Fort Lauderdale, and Boca Raton. And if you're celebrating an occasion or any occasion, it is the highest quality Italian cuisine. And we're talking real Italian, northern, southern, beautiful seafood, pristine dishes, kind of beautiful presentations, great service, wine program that is unsurpassed. Go into Casa D'Angelo, have yourself a beautiful meal. If it's an anniversary, birthday, graduation, retirement, or just having a date night, tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
All right, you gentlemen are going to carry on. I got to get out of here, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Tomorrow at Even Keel. You're in for the Keel, right? Perfect.
Let's go.
Best restaurants in South Florida? Casa D'Angelo is always at the top of my list. First-class dining, top-flight service, elegant atmosphere, and chef-founder Angelo Ilia is legendary. The flagship in Fort Lauderdale has been serving the finest Italian cuisine since 1997, with other locations in Boca Raton and Aventura. As Angelo himself says, they have an unwavering commitment to unparalleled quality with meticulous attention to details. It's so good, with house-made pastas, pristine seafood, unique meats like elk chops and bison, and seasonal specialties including fragrant fresh truffles from Italy. All locations open 7 days for dinner. Reservations recommended. For a special occasion or any occasion, Casa D'Angelo. Tell them Mike Mayo sent you. If you're looking for an exquisite sushi experience, Kaizen Sushi Bar and Grill in Fort Lauderdale is the place to go. 5640 North Federal Highway, just north of Commercial Boulevard. Chef owner Hui Lam, he's a sushi savant, slicing and serving pristine fish and seafood flown in directly from Japan and around the world. Nigiri, sashimi, special rolls, and omakase dinners. He's ruined me from going anywhere else. It's that good. Open 7 days for dinner and also for lunch. Even if you're not a sushi fan, they have great cooked options, including steaks, chops, rice and noodles, and other Japanese dishes. It's fantastic. For reservations and information, go to kaizenflorida.com. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Delicious Mexican food with innovative twists. Margaritas with a medley of tongue-tingling flavors. I'm talking about Taco Craft, Taqueria, and Tequila Bar. The place to go on Taco Tuesday and every day. It's located at 510 North Federal and Highway in Fort Lauderdale, and also in Lauderdale by the Sea at Plantation Walk, and soon in Coral Springs. Taco Craft has specials every day, including bottomless drinks for a Sunday brunch, and Taco Tuesdays with their $4 premium tacos, including their new burrito tacos with bone marrow broth. Oh, it's so good. They've even made a taco lover out of me, and they've got so much more, including fajitas, that open-faced smashed cheeseburger tortilla that's new, and a guacamole sample that's an explosion of flavors. The kitchen is open late. There's delivery and takeout. For more information, go to tacocraft.com. Tell them Mike Mayo the Lunchbox sent you. Prezzo Italian Restaurants. 2 locations, Boca Raton at Park Place on Military Trail, and Palm Beach Gardens in the PGA Commons on PGA Boulevard. Contemporary Italian cuisine with house-made pastas, wood-fired pizzas, salads, veal, chicken, and of course their famous focaccia bread with oven-roasted garlic bulbs. In Garlic We Trust is their slogan, and you can trust Prezzo for a great experience with gracious service and tremendous value. Open 7 days, featuring brunch, lunch, dinner, and happy hour. Great wine deals and full bar at both locations. For reservations and more information, go to eatprezzo.com. All right, we're back on the Lunchbox, and Lubie and I'm sorry, I went off on a kind of soliloquy harangue there, but I don't know what your sense is out there out west. And it's strange because there's some places that are just, like I said, killing it. I mean, Kaizen on a Monday night was packed. He does such a great job that he's built up this following. Cafe Seville, same thing. Loyal locals. And Runway 84, our friends, Anthony Bruno and, of course, Mark Falsetto. I mean, that place, 18 months after opening, I thought there would be like a shiny new toy part where it would be really hard to get in and then it would fade after, especially 1 year, and then you go into the summer season. But that place every night is jam-packed. And he seems to be doing well at the Taco Crafts as well, because he's opening that new one in Coral Springs, and he says this one's going to be a game changer. I don't know what that means. I saw him post.
Well, because it's right where it is, and it's what our friend Brian talks about with me. And I'm not giving away any plans specifics, but for a guy that's out east, for what he does with sandwiches and stuff, would fit perfectly out west. Where they're putting this is right in the middle of lots of offices and also lots of homes. So like where the Taco Craft is, it's a part of Coral Springs where they're trying to make it a downtown, and they put a lot of time and effort into this area, and they're revitalizing. It's sort of an area that's downtrodden in between East and West Coral Springs that they're really trying to revitalize, and where Taco Craft's going to be is right in the middle of it. And there's a lot of stuff there. So it actually feels like if they can get it up and running, it should be, look, people like Shirley and I, we love going out east. But we would love to be able to stay out west a lot more, places like that, where it's not just, yes, we actually have some nice restaurants. We are lucky in that regard. Don Jaffe made fun of me when I was saying that you have to go here and there. No,
you got Lavello and Coral Springs. That's
we have a lot of quality. The Cork, the Peruvian places, both Macaro and the place we went, Bravo. Yeah. Again, there's
Runyon's.
Runyon's nice. The fondue cheese place my wife loves is out here. There's the Indian Arun's is really,
that's not necessarily a sit down restaurant, but it's great
high
food,
quality food. We have high quality mom and pop / smaller, good ingredient. Again, Pasta Ann's actually in our area. Like we have, it's not that, but places to go like Plantation Walk where you can park.
right.
and
And walk around
experience
and
the
spend the
night.
night. Yeah.
We don't have a lot of that out here, and I'm excited to get more of that. The problem is the COVID thing it didn't backfire, but like you said, where nationally things died down, we ramped up. We hit it so hard that a lot of
Right.
people thought this was the new norm. Like the technology world thought, oh, everyone's just going to be at home all the time. No, people want to live
Yeah.
and experience life.
And it's like our pandemic is now in that the glut of overpriced mediocre restaurants is going to be a shakeout.
Yeah.
The problem is because just based on circumstance and location, some really good food
Yes.
also falls victim because, let's face it, Tom T, I haven't had better red beans and rice anywhere, including in New Orleans and Louisiana. He makes his fine red beans and rice and his grilled oysters. I mean, that's all
Oysters are
fantastic.
fantastic.
But for people who are looking for like an atmosphere or, like a, fine dining or, all the like chandeliers, like Eddie V's is a place that's packed. I mean, it's a gorgeous dining room. Great service. It's also a chain that's run by Darden, the biggest, chain restaurant outfit in the country. And besides having Olive Garden and Bahama Breeze, they also wanted to move into the fine dining space. So they did it up, right on Las Olas Boulevard, and it's packed a lot too. And people like going there because of consistency, but you can't find a piece of local fish in there, even though they call themselves a prime seafood restaurant. That's what irks me as a critic and a discerning diner is like, how do you call yourself a seafood spot when you can't get a stone crab in March or a piece of snapper or grouper throughout the year? But people don't even notice that. And that's the other thing is 85% of people don't care. They don't pay attention to those kind of details. It's only for the critics like myself. And just people want kind of what is perceived as good value. And I find a lot of bad value out there in that you could spend $100 a person on a place that's total mediocrity. And I'd rather spend a little bit more on a place like even a, kind of low slung mom and pop, like Luke's Seafood. And of course, J&C Seafood, which, is the happy hour pricing is beautiful. And by the way, again, 2035 Harrison Street will be there next month for the ribbon cutting with Raheem. But, I'm rooting for them because they have such good product, but then, it doesn't comport with what people are looking for, either price wise or atmosphere wise.
Corvina makes me think of that, right? Like it reminds me very similar to Even Keel, very similar to J&C and the kind of food they have. But what I'll give Eddie credit, they are willing to go and take some swings when it comes to prices and specials. Like he was talking about the other day with us, something that literally they're going to lose money on. I mean, what they're doing with the happy hour, what they're doing with some of the stuff in Boca at Corvina is not only risky, it's flat out dumb. He said, yeah, we're going to lose money on it. But
it's a long-term play is what it is.
From a bit, I'm not calling him dumb. What I'm saying is big shop businesses would never do it because we have to be about the bottom line. Small restaurants have to do things like that where you may lose money right now, but if you're getting tons and tons of people in the door,
right,
usually you'll reap the benefits of that long term. And
it's called a loss leader. You get the asses in the seats, get them in there the first time, let them like something, and then there's some people who are going to say, oh, once the 50% off is gone, they're gone too. But there, you have a percentage of people percentage of people will say, oh, I like this place. Let's put it on our regular rotation in season. And then they'll be willing to pay full price because it's worth it. And, it's a gambit, but it's, something that if you're confident in what you're serving and, Eddie Pizzoli knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. Yeah. And you had a great experience at Prezzo last week.
Yes.
So
when it feels like, but that's the thing is, only the strong survive, blah, 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 survival of the fittest. Look, you're naming all these places, whether they're corporation run or smaller. Anthony's isn't a corporation, especially Runway, but you have to have a hook. And it's what Ken, who is a restaurateur and I have talked about a lot, is if you're a smaller place, you can survive. We've seen plenty of smaller places survive. You have to be different in some way. And that's what Reno's talked about. That's what a lot of these places that we know have found their niche and had a lot of success. Look, even Stromboli's has been around forever, right? Like the one in Plantation, they changed hands and they haven't skipped a beat. you got to find your niche, and then you can't be scared to go after it. And you have to be there. You can't just be the same. Defo and I talk about this when it comes to broadcasting. That's ever more present than in the restaurant industry. You have to stand out. And the places Shirley and I go to are the places have a dish or have a few dishes that we just can't find anywhere else.
And I think beyond product and, quality of food and service, location.
Yeah.
And you got to do your research and say, is there enough either drive-by traffic, foot traffic that's going to sustain a business? Because otherwise, to make something a destination thing is really, really hard. And it's, I'm thinking of, there's this place called Dino's Subs, a guy named Scott or Dino Cohen, who was a descendant of Wolfie Cohen. And, but he opened up, it was more an Italian style deli, and it was near the Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport, like west of 95 and west of, I guess it's, the executive airport there. And it was just kind of an out of the way spot. I never got to go there, and he was always after me to come and try it. And I said I would, and I just never found myself around there at the time that they were open, because it was, more of a lunch place. And he just announced that he was closing shop, and a lot of positive reviews on the Let's Eat group. People who went in there, he was doing a pastrami sandwich because of his Wolfie's heritage. And he also was doing Italian cold cup subs. They looked like pretty good subs, but the location was just a killer. And, same thing. It's just a matter of a little bit of luck and a lot of hard work, and getting the right location is basically a lot of the key to success for most restaurants, because most people don't want to drive more than 5 to 10 minutes to go, whether it's lunch or dinner or even breakfast. So, it's harder, and there is this shakeout that I think we are in the middle of, and I want to be there and support the industry, but I also understand everybody's points of view, and these are harder times in South Florida, and again, we have other issues here, like the whole insurance industry, and not just
the rent
homes.
In the insurance is a big deal.
Rent is one thing, because they have long-term leases, so that's fixed costs to where they know how much it's going to rise. What they don't know what's going to rise is what's called CAM, which is the maintenance, which includes the insurance and things like the utilities and whatnot. So that's what places are getting hammered on. Rents are high, but but then these CAM payments and things like the garbage disposal and all that stuff. So look, it's a multifaceted equation. I don't know what the answer is. I mean, in capitalism, there's supply and demand. Things are going to shake out. And when there's less restaurants, then, more of them will be able to, I guess, make a profit. The question is, at that point, will some of them be able to lower their prices because they don't have to charge as much? And all these things, we're trying to solve all the world's problems.
I don't know. I mean, look, it's something that'll solve itself. It's sad, because I appreciate that we have so many places, and we do have the variety. Wherever we talk about all the time, wherever you go in South Florida, you can find almost, if not every kind of cuisine. You can find a variety of cuisines wherever you are, east or west, north or south. So, and that's not the case around the country. So and that's the case around the state. So I appreciate that. And I'm sad for these places that do fall off, because this is what we do every day, is talk about restaurants. But again, that's sort of life, right? Like the strong, quote unquote, will survive. And look, we see places that fall find a way to come back in other forms. So maybe, if you don't make it a brick and mortar here, maybe you can come back as a food truck, you can come back as a pop-up, or vice versa,
True talent always finds a way to persevere and eventually, hopefully, thrive, not just survive. All right, that's going to do it for today. We are going to be at Even Keel Fish Shack, Lauderdale by the Sea tomorrow. And again, get those tickets now, vlfoodwine.com.
That's great.
Well, yeah, we got some of those. The VIP is a good deal. I mean, for like $100, you get all the oysters and Tattinger champagne that you could drink for 3 hours, along with an entree from their brunch menu. I mean, that's a great good deal. So go get your tickets now, vlfoodwine.com, eventbrite.com. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, enjoy every fudgy and enjoy every sandwich.